Good evening, love, and good evening, light illuminators and way showers. Nia Uliata. Siniandia Sonoko Granda Shanatela Kiasana. And it is in, once again, divine grace and gratitude that I thank you for joining me on my journey of joy in these sacred synchronicities. Yalukusane Ushanawala Soto Sumaniakwa, as each of us share in the infinite languages of lights. No omo sotosopalia akishnarasalia. For absolutely everything that exists in all of creation speaks, vibrates, emits a frequency of love, a vibration of light. Everything is sound, everything is color, everything is vibration, everything is resonance. Absolutely everything, color, sound, is measured in frequency. It's measured in vibration. We resonate with each other. We find each other because we emit our own very special language of love and language of our light, the light that shines from within. And so the synchronicities truly began once again. Well, they never really end, do they? As I'm feeling this infinity symbol, realizing that everything, there really is no beginning and truly ending. It's just this amazing, always infinitely growing. And once again, I'm looking at the double helix and the DNA and the spiral image, and just the idea that everything is this beautiful infinite spiral that just keeps growing and growing, yet everything within it is infinitely and harmoniously connected. So on this day of 13 on January 19th, 2018, which equals 13, it's a day of transformation. And so how synchronistic, as I was coming off this yellow energy yesterday of sunlight and shining our true light. And so this morning I was feeling this shine energy, this, when we shine inside, we shine outward. And so I was just feeling this yellow swirling energy today. And as I was meditating, I was having these just amazing experiences and remembering the experiences from last night and in the hangout with Will, with Reiki with Will and his light language and Aquarian fire hangout and meditation, and and then feeling today this real feeling of a new wave of transformation, and wanting to just being today, and it's the freedom. Today's Friday, so it's this idea of freedom, and the sacred symbol for 13 is transform, that we received from our Sirius family. And so then I was moving into this like green and pink, really pink energy again, this crystal pink energy, and this heart chakra energy once again. And coincidentally, I had also received in the mail something from a dear star sister of mine. And as I opened it this morning, it was so very beautifully synchronistic. And as I was gazing upon the images this morning, and the first image that she sent to me was this one, in this amazing, beautiful pink. And I was immediately feeling these infinite connections, these transformational energies, that what we're experiencing now is so inexplicable sometimes. And I even had to laugh that today, even Alex was joking about how you know, you just start, we tend to almost stop paying attention to all the synchronicities because it's so consistent and continuous now. It's so amazing, yet now it's just all day long I was having it, and every time I was veering off and and things weren't working quite out the way I had anticipated, and it prolonged the errands I had to run today, yet everything turned out so oddly synchronistic, and every time I started feeling like I was that things weren't working out, I thought, okay, wait, I can transform that though, and immediately shifted my attention and energy and focus to something other than that, and I would see something, an image on the wall. I happen to live in a place that's a very historical here, um, and there's quilts all over the place. It dates back to much of it dates back to the Civil War where I live here, and so there's a lot of historical imagery here. And so I was looking at these quilt squares that are beautifully painted all over the buildings, and I was reminded of how my own quilts. I actually have one of my very first quilts right here. Geez, I wow, when did I make that? That had to be, I had to make, that was one of my very first crazy quilts that I made like back in the 1980s. And so I'm looking at these quilt squares and I'm reminded of how, you know, sometimes we don't see the big picture and we don't see our perfect place in that overall quilt, and how we connect with each other, and how I was actually even making notes today because I didn't want to forget some of the things that I wanted to talk about, because I'm going to be busy all day tomorrow and I've got the event on Sunday, so I wasn't sure when I'd be able to share all this stuff today. So I was laughing. Then today I wrote down that when I was looking at the clock today, it turned 3:13. So I was laughing about that, and how song titles today and times on the clock, all these synchronicities were happening one after the other today. And then I was reminded today of the first time I heard the word ubiquitous, and it was like actually in like 1987 in during the harmonic convergence, and how I remember hearing in my head that day, you are ubiquitous. I am ubiquitous. I, like God, like all things, exist all at once. And it was like all of these things were coming together, and I was feeling this explosion of like activations and downloads and emotions and connections, and connections to then Christy, Christy Campbell, who sent these to me, and the people that I had been meeting this week, and it was all in it, just this explosion. And every time I went into a building, I would see sacred geometry and just images of spheres and crystal spheres and trophies and pyramids and triangles and hexagons and octagons, and it was crazy. And so I feel like everywhere I was going, I was being like reactivated and reactivated. And And then I was reminded about Friday and freedom, and how we are so all things at all times that we don't even understand that whether we feel freedom or the lack of freedom is an experience. We are so powerful. We get to experience the the essence of what it feels like to be freedom, to experience not freedom, and how appropriate. I'm just hearing in my head about where the Civil War, right? And so it was about freedom. And so it all was intertwining so interestingly today. And one thing led to another, and then I was carrying this pink green energy with me everywhere I went, and it was as if, and it was I was if I was being reminded all day long that I had the power to transform every moment, and that things that I felt that weren't going correctly actually ultimately turned out perfectly. And it even led me to, I had to laugh too, one of the places that we hadn't planned on stopping. I was led to this adorable little chime with all these pink crystals and this new moon with the little fairy. It's called the fairy, the fairy moon. Um, so this, and I was just so enchanted with it, and it's like how beautiful that here she is waving her little wand and saying, "Okay, it's the new moon energy. You can transform anything with the magic of your intention," and feeling this glowing pink energy, this crystalline transformational energy, and then the green, this green energy of new and new beginnings and new growth. And so it led me to the next. Now there was a little story behind this too. When Christy asked to send these to me, and I could just feel the energy even in the paper, um, and that it was to tell a story of. And so she's telling me a story in these images, and I'm just feeling just crazy connections. And now Christy and I, although we don't get the opportunity to interact very often, and rarely, if ever, in a video or talking or chatting, but yet we have this incredible and always have this i- incredible telepathic connection. We always have. And I think we've known each other now a couple of years. And so I think I felt like I was carrying this information and this energy and these downloads, and then all of a sudden I was reminded of my dreams I was having the last couple of nights, and specifically last night, and how all of this is intertwined, and how we, even the idea and the essence of freedom itself is an energetic experience of source that wished to experience itself as the actual essence of freedom, and wanted to experience what freedom was in every sense of the word. And that every time you, me, anything, any entity, anywhere in creation experiences the expression of freedom or lack of freedom, which is also an energetic essence entity, if you will, they are experiencing all of our experiences that we are experiencing and feeding to the essence that is that energy, freedom, or confinement, for example. So it was a very interesting, it's very interesting how once you become aware that you can put your toe into the stream of all information, but not even put your toe in it, that you're already in it, that you already exist within all that exists. It it changes your perspective and your perception of you and what you're capable of comprehending, of understanding. Even if you can't say it and articulate it, you can experience it. See, now I'm getting the crown, getting the crown chakra itchies. Oh, goodness. So I'm feeling my galactic connections in these, and the story behind this, and the other energetic and the other physical and energetic beings that are involved in this story, um, those here on Earth and not on Earth. And this is the next drawing. This is also in a deep green. And so, isn't it interesting how these images, I was feeling today, actually, how similar they seemed and felt to me to the idea that transformation was abound, that this was a message of some major, major transformations within me personally, within us collectively. Thank you. So and I really felt like this, and there's a story too. Many of my friends, my family, everybody calls me Wen for short, WEN. And in one of my very first meditations and downloads and channelings, I was given the understanding. I was given the knowing, the information that I was a speaker of many different energies and essences, if you will. A stone speaker, um, the collective of speakers. Let's just say that the collective of speakers. And so it was interesting because this image here reminded me of WEN, my name, and when they told me in the, I think it was at the right around the time I made my very first light language video, interestingly enough, um, you are speaker new, and they spelled it NU, which many times this essence has come through in my videos. Speaker new, and I'm hearing the stone speakers, and so and the tree speakers, so that there's a several collectives that are involved in that, and so it and what I realized too was my nickname Wen, spelled backwards, is NEW, new, and so it was very interesting, that little connection. And so when I saw these images and I saw Wen, there was something that came together with all, and I guess I can't even explain all of them, but something came together with all of this information that I was receiving in these downloads from these images, and memories, triggerings of blips and images of dreams. And it keeps reminding me every day that I am a galactic ambassador, that all of these collectives and these galactic federations of light, the Galactic Federation of Light, these all of these support collectives are sending us more and more information, and we're receiving more and more information. And the more light languages we speak, the more information we allow to come through. Everything from oracle cards uh, to the written scribes. It was also this. Actually, I found this tablet. I unpacked this actually just a few days ago. This tablet is actually a few years old. This tablet actually was one of the first tablets I began writing light languages on, and I didn't actually even date this. I don't believe. So I was led back to a few years ago. It might have even been probably about 3 years ago. So there we are, another 3 year, right around the time probably I started making videos. So all of this was tying into this now, and this idea of transformation, and we're talking about the 3 energy and 13 and the 13th step, and now here we are again, this transformation. So very interesting, all of these synchronicities that were just like popping up, and it really it makes us understand how we truly are time traveling. Where I got my little police box here, my little Doctor Who police box. So, how we really are able to tap into different parallel realities and shift into different timelines, if you will. I taisamaria no ia bahui hana kale ko sopo hano kale koki sapinki asato sapale hano kale ko shamania. And again, I'm reminded of how, as we're writing these galactic glyphs, if you will, and hieroglyphs and sacred symbols and sacred circuitry, we still don't even understand the messages in the pyramids. We're just beginning to understand all of this and how it all ties together. We're still conceptualizing and idealizing, and we're trying to make sense of things in a three-dimensional thought processes. And now we're expanding our ability to take these multidimensional thought processes, capabilities, and expand them in order to receive and share more information, open up our channeling abilities. Open up our telepathic abilities, open up our third eye, activate our crown chakra. Lenini itapaloko posotoshela katorisale lasana kila korea balakose samosa. So they're reminding me once again to share that do not hesitate to share. Just as Christy was guided to me to, to share these with me, don't hesitate with her. There's a reason why. And now I'm reminded, oh my gosh, again, a lovely woman I met at the Pyramid Conference last year who sent me a message this week. And she was the first person I think I had actually written light languages and given to her physically. And she had such an emotional and galactic connection that we connected the next day. And she was the first person that I had ever had a light language conversation with other than Bree out in the world. I didn't know her already. She and we had met for the very first time during this conference, and yet I was guided in the middle of one of the speakers, coincidentally, one of the speakers, and I was hearing, to do these galactic languages and write it and pass it back to her, and she was sitting right behind me, and I'm like, to who? They're saying, pass it back to the girl behind you, and I turned around and looked at her, and I'm like, and it was like like electric connection or something, and we kind of smiled a bit, and then I finished writing them, and I handed them to her, and her eyes got really big, and then the very next day we started talking, and we had the most emotional, crazy connection. The first thing at breakfast that morning, we were just in tears, like hiding breakfast at the table. It was an amazing experience. So the last page of the symbols that Christy sent me were in this gray, and so there's so many synchronicities with all of this that I'm only beginning to download and discern them, and I'm almost excited to go to sleep tonight and meditate on them, so I can really try to connect with them. And one of the questions I even received today was about how do I meditate, and really just focusing on one thing, whether it's your breath, whether it's an image. This is a perfect example. I can sit and stare at this and ask my guides to help me remember. I actually don't even need to ask them out loud. I just, by looking at this, and I'm energetically asking for more information. I'm feeling, and now I'm actually feeling a stirring within me as I'm gazing upon these, just as we all do with these light codes, these light activations, which is one thing that I found that I really enjoy doing for people, is because they really work. And that's one of the things that Jacqueline Smith does as well, is sharing these light codes and light symbols. Because when you intend for the message to be for someone, just as anything that you put love and intention into, it carries the essence, it carries the energy. We already know crystals carry information and energy. Think the crystal skulls. Think Lemurian crystals. Think every single crystal at all. Even Himalayan salt crystals carry, I mean, think about when we eat Himalayan salt crystals. I mean, and we bathe in them. We clean ourselves. We cleanse with them. I mean, this is not a mistake. Everything is connected. And so, as I'm gazing upon these, I could then sit and close my eyes and go into just a quiet place of neutrality. You can even imagine a color, an image, a symbol, one symbol. And it's about not thinking. It's about allowing the information about it being an antenna and hearing it rather than actually thinking the thought. And you truly do begin to discern the difference. Mahlianto sama erkoshana. Lihinania saporo bala hanokolo kusono de ilakina. Samiaro sanaklenko sapa aloko so palate. It's like a painting, a song, even if it has no music. It speaks to us in a unique way. It rings our frequencies all in a different way. Each of us, for example, prefer a different frequency of a chime. It to some what would be lovely and gentle to others might be maybe annoying, irritating even. So it and which is why each crystal resonates with us at a different time. Different people, different circumstances. Everything is going to resonate with us at a different time as we change our vibrations and we move through these parallel realities and timelines and visit them and allow ourselves to be downloaded more. So thank you, my dear sister of light, my galactic sister. We are on ships together. We are on planets together. We are hybrid mothers. We are, the list goes on, and yet I'm only beginning myself to even remember and recall and put together and connect my own dots and my own star dots, if you will. So every time we want something, we focus our energy in such a way, we are reminded every day that by these little synchronicities that yes, you are creating. You are your current moment in that timeline is telling you you are transforming that moment. Ya Julianto Samori Ishinato. Vihina Kikumbu Asanani Gileasoto Sopola Anakala Kosanani Vileana. Lahina Ikiana Tutopaliasata Kishinara Salopa. Lahina Kinundo Sopoloco Kishinara Sopala. Lahira Gona Kiki. Some of these are my favorites, and actually, because they're some of my first. Era quinta y lenquisa no sopola halakisa. Sono shamari ini kikina. Topuko shamari ito shapala halakiliana. And I was feeling at the time, I was feeling very serious, the star Sirius system connections when I was receiving these images, these activations. And these have been, over the years, very powerful for me. And even, you know, nothing is by accident. This is just binary. This is just a bunch of ones and zeros, but yet it came to me. And so, and I said, okay, I'll hold it up just for a second. So, regardless of what is coming to you, these are clear and powerful activations for all of us to begin to realize who we actually are. I came to realize. This is actually one of my favorites. Realize, it's like, yay, I've realized something. So, and imagine, and that's 11. How about that? So here we are in this 2018, this year of 11. So isn't that interesting? I opened to that page. Realize. We're realizing our ability now to transform. And so that's what this is all about. Hearing the wind chimes, hearing the dinner bell of our family, our 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 divine families. Yeah, and to remember that each of us is a divine quilt square, and that sometimes I would have to lay out all the pieces over and over and over again and move them around and move them around and stand up and stand away and look at it from a bigger perspective, because these are, often much larger than even my arms spread. And so they literally would take up, the whole space. And to be able to see it from a grander and higher perspective and see the sacred geometry and see how it's all laid out, and whether or not you've already created the pattern, the colors, and how you want to lay them out and combine them and where they touch, and it all creates a new picture. And so we're reminded that each of us is a part of this divine picture, this divine quilt, if you will. And um, even the quilts that I've made, I've mentioned this in other videos, the quilts that I've made for my family, and they even say to me, I feel the love within them. I feel your energy. When I put it over me, I feel you and the love and the time that you put into these. And to know that, I was snuggling with them and stitching them. And so every time we do something and put it out to the world, it's a divine connection. And so actually, there's a couple of other ones that Christy's made for me that I would like to share at another time. She sent them to me digitally. So I just wanted to once again share these beautiful synchronistic divine connections. Samisa Saboresha Kianake. The card. Okay, so I was guided to the conscious spirit deck. And because this image, the colors, the pinks, the purples, the divinity, the third eye, all of it was speaking to me today. The backs of the cards and the sacred geometry, all of it. All of this I was experiencing today. So I was guided to this deck. And I shuffled and shuffled, and what is the card I pull? Again, but Spirit Awakens. The number one card, the 2018 energy equaling 11, and being still in this January energy. Today is the 19th, so we've got 19, which is 10, so we've got 1, 1, 1, 1 energy again, 11, 11 energy, and here we pick again the number one card. I embrace my soul purpose and align all aspects of my life to it fully. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that was also Alex's card. So there we go for sacred synchronicities. Yeah, Soto Shamala. Lihina Klianto Sopalihono Quesa Sheila Kisade. Inarkia Sotopoda. Listen, anybody else, I need I say it again. You just can't make this stuff up. Tohuniko Shoto Shopaliasha Kiata Lira. So mi sa dun ko sa pala ono pala kisa ta sani ki ilisete. Ya so pala. So mi ano ko la koreanta ringi sa noti ila ka sa Maria sanate. Tiaso, trust your instincts. Connect with your body. Connect with your instincts. Move and act in that divinity of your spiritual awareness, your divine connection to the one, and know that you are on your path. Everything today told me I was on. And of course, you can't be off of your path because you are your path, but you're on your highest vibrational frequency version of that path. That's what's reminded in all of those synchronicities. So on this 1111 explosion of energy, in this 13 energy, and this age of Aquarius, and this idea of spiritual galactic connections, we're connecting to absolutely every single aspect of ourselves. And every time we see anything, it's a reflection, it's a mirror, it's a numeric or symbolic vibration that's being returned to us of who we are in that now. We are actually experiencing and embracing and vibrating in the essence of the very thing that we are seeing in that mirror, in that focus, in that expression. So yeah, toda sa malianto sa mo korea sa nateliana el koyana. Sa mi kiana rikilando so orgo sa balahalo koya. Nashina inana tatapelero. Lumbiero sa noresha alake sa masopo unkuya. Nasi de shinoro sa nopo orgo shanateke. Sinisa ni teara. And I'm being reminded now that Christy did talk today about the Pleiadians and the Black Knight ship. And so as I'm also wearing this black energy, which actually I didn't know that part of it until after I actually realized what I was wearing, and then she sent me that information. So it was very interesting how that Black Knight and that Pleiadian energy and Nyasa Tapariana Yikurapa Sonoparia Ola Kapo Onakila Sanati Kisa Semi Sania Sotoparia Shanoyana Kaliato Sapa our Kotia Varia Sonoparia Yamarako Kuya. And so much Pleiadian energy I've been receiving lately about sound healing and Varia Sonomayara Sona Awakua and drum circles and the alchemy of sacred geometry, and how as we vibrate we literally begin to see ourselves as these other expressions. In other words, when you see the repeating digits on the clock, or anywhere for that matter, or any expression of sacred geometry, it is actually a reflection of who you are in that moment. You are literally the frequency vibration of that GPS coordinate, if you will, the frequential GPS coordinate. You're a mirror of that in that moment. And they're reminding me now too that we are not just this direction. we view ourselves as this red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, pink, violet, crystalline violet, pink energy. But yet we are not this singular dimensional being. We do not just exist in this state. We are moving and always moving and transforming and transmuting our energy. So Miarhinka sa moro sa pariaso Congo ya sa para irolia ba kuya bakala impuya so so por so moria tare na ayana ayinkia sa topananko inkia para so no pariando un poco pasha na terenkia. Mani wa kumbaya so ne anahi wa kuha sanne anoku Sinayala kunayahi Senoahani Sunayotumayanu anoaku Singayotu halunayoha Sunayohalanohe Singayohaleianuha Iya Yuna Eliano Rua Senu Ate Sunani Utua Enu Etu Siatuya elekina tasha elesono poke shaliana telea. Yes, no miarango yamara kuapaka. Siniawa awa. And within this divine vessel, we connect with your divine vessel. Mani iawa anoaka, the sinata, and all the elements that you are composed of. Ma'antu kurambu goyambasha. If you are not just connecting with the mind of another or the soul of another, but you are connecting with every particle of another, absolutely every particle, you become one vibration, one particle. You are reminded that you are the one particle, existing ubiquitously, all at once, as everything. This is what understanding God and you as a God, and the representation of the God and the Goddess, the one spirit, the one particle. Moharo kiasa ni kiano ko ingiasa tori me hawan go aba hawo. No hiana sunu miano ko riambo ko samani ko kiasa na. Pleha, liango. Sheki na ina ni. Apua shono go ambo ko zonora. He na yaso no ara kliando sabara korongo sade she. Mihina ko yanda hali leana. Haliana, hali. Miyando sabara shanora hilango samalo. Ianu aku hayana hilanwa netuna yahi sunale sikate su senia kaliana apore neke lia shoma sonokoko sho la teke la lia Lomaki Caseno, La Quera Sani, La Comosho, Lindia Sonora, Locobagoja, Shomoko Sate, La Quera Sono, Lelianoro, Landeco Sono, Lengisha Ningi, Nandiasa, Lengiko Ungorosha La Eletiki, Sata Somola, Lo Setere, Lo Sequera, Sopa Sonera, Sambingia, Sora, Sobo, Corongo, Sera, Lingi, Latera, Sanani, No Pore Soco, Kiara Kesha, Saki, Satera, Somarion Coria, Corocoki, Siniai, Locora, the Seteki Sali, Samai, Alocontesha, Toporeke, Letora, Moshoko, Goya Satale, La Sela, Momaya Wiki. Salita Kananda Terasana Mosha. Miantosani Ilankia Sonoshe. It has been divine to connect with you in this now, in this way, as we experience ourselves as the one particle, the one source, the one light, the one love, Moshonaya, the one mother, the one father, in the one divine union. Shambokaya, Sane, Samiro, Sonoko, Shaya, Salaka, Shonola, Le Satake. Masaru sono kokora ne ki saria.